All right, well, let me get on my high horse today. This is probably going to be the most disregarded, disliked, and disapproved video I've ever made. And I'm okay. I'm going to stand behind that because here's things to know about Magic the Gathering. Number one, don't play standard. Okay, don't fall for the standard trap. Don't play stupid standard. When I first got into the hobby of Magic back in high school, I really fell into standard at the Return of Ravenica series, right around Innistrad, Return of Ravenica. That's when I hopped in. I had a lot of fun. It was great. Don't get me wrong. Standard's a fun way to have fun with your buddies and learn the game. It's also a fun way to get into FNM and just meet more people that way. But just kind of falling for the trap of what's the biggest one, what's the meta. I hated standard because it was a bunch of kids that just copied and pasted the most powerful decks online, and that was it. And they tried to win. I got to see decks that were made with care. They weren't copy and pasted, and thank God, because that was the one thing that kept me going. But when it comes down to Magic the Gathering, don't fall for the stupid standard trap. I've got a better trap for you, and that's Commander. Commander, if you haven't already heard, EDH back in Commander's been popular since like the 90s, but if you haven't already fucking heard about Commander, it's 99 card singleton. Besides basic lands, nothing can repeat itself, so it makes it more fun. It makes it more different, more unique. And yeah, the same thing with standard. You're gonna have kids that copied and paste the best decks on EDH Rec and just try to wreck you with it and spend $400 or $500. But I'll tell you right now, Magic is most fun at the table with your friends, whether it's one on one or whether it's multiplayer. That's when it's the most fun. If you're trying to play competitive, then yeah, it's a sport in the sense of you're trying to beat this opponent at a child's card game. It's really fun when you're at the table with your buddies, and that's where Commander excels. I've got not just those two. I've got plenty. Oh, man, if only I could see. Yeah, I got a lot of decks. I got more than this too. I've got so many fucking decks. Something about Magic too. I realized the cards appreciate in value depending on what makes them popular. Back when I first started playing, I used to play this guy called Desecration Demon. He was a little 4 drop, 6/6 flyer, and he was really popular. When the next set Theros came out, because Theros introduced that devotion mechanic or whatever. I'm so out of the loop too, but that Desecration, he was a 2 black, 2 colorless, so he skyrocketed in price. He went from like 9 cents to like $6-10 overnight, and I was sitting on like 4 or 5 of them. Um, that happened with my Commander decks. If any of you are familiar with the game, this is Egger Markov or whatever. I originally got him from the standard Commander Vampire Tribal deck year like 2016, 2017. Um, and one of my buddies like a year ago or a couple months ago was like, "Hey, look at the price of him on EDH or on TCG Player." And I checked it. He's like $89, $100. Like that's great. Like, but I'm gonna be honest, if you would have told me this card would have been worth $100 a couple years down the line, I would have told you that's fucking great. Who gives a shit? Unless you need more cards, that's a good way to trade. But I say just fucking hold on to them unless you gotta sell them, man. I think the art's cool. I think the art's cool, and especially it's a cool story to tell when you can say, oh yeah, I got him, and then years later, then he became like this crazy amount, but I still have him because I like him. It's like, why would I sell him? You know what I mean? It's just kind of that's my attitude towards it. I highly recommend that you get into Magic the Gathering. It's so much fun. You've been on my channel over here. I love tabletop games. This is one of them, bro. This is one of them tabletop games. I mean, just imagine a card game, but for D&D. That's Magic the Gathering. I wish I played more D&D growing up than I did Magic, but that's just what me and my friends were into at the time. But I highly recommend Commander because when it comes down to it, my excuse for any tabletop game is I just want my friends. I want an excuse for my friends to come over. Commander's going to give you that excuse because a standard game is going to be 20, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. That's it. And you might get a little peeved because your deck didn't do so hot, or your buddy spent so much money on his deck and it did amazing. Get a commander deck. Get a commander deck or build a commander deck. Check out edhrec.com. Same thing I said though. With commander decks, you don't just copy and paste. Look for some, key staples in your deck, but don't copy and paste because that's just no fun. I am a huge proponent of making your own decks. Growing up, I was always the guy that this is my number one. This is my go-to deck. It's my dragon. It's Jund Dragon, Fire, Swamp, Forest, green, black, red, dragon. This is my go-to, my first commander deck made in 2015. I love this thing. I'm not going to tell you how much it's worth now because it was worth a penny back when I started, but I switched from standard to commander because I knew that when I have friends if I ever am lucky enough to get friends to come over, I can slap down a couple of my commander decks and we can start playing. Same with standard, but I really think commander is the way to go in terms of, hanging out with your friends and your buddies. I get standards competitive, but I'm sorry, man. The whole competitive scene for Magic, it was dead when I joined in 2015. It's been dead. And we've all seen the memes about people in their butt cracks, bro. I could tell you so many stories about how many sweaty Chewbacca's I played up against in FNM, Friday Night Magic. I can tell you, I pissed off some people at Friday Night Magic. I pissed off a kid one time. He rage quit, and I felt really bad. I apologized to him afterwards, and he told me there was other stuff going on too. But I have stories of one time my buddy was at the lineup for FNM, and he's trying to find his name, and hears someone goes, "Oh, I'm playing against Matthew. Fuck me." And it wasn't because I'm a good player. It was because I probably annoyed people, and I was like, "Fuck me, bro." Hopefully it was a different Matthew, but I mean, I have so many stories of Friday Night Magic. I'll probably bring some Magic stories in here, but I mean, that's all I used to do. If I wasn't lifeguarding in high school or going to school, I was playing Magic the Gathering. But yeah, take it from me. Get out of standard. Just fucking pull the plug on standard. Get out as soon as you can. And unless you got like a solid friend group that's your thing. I am not. Don't let me take nothing away from you, bro. That's you and your friends. That's all I gotta say. This is my personal opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't listen to it all. You can get the fuck out of here. I don't care. But just try Commander too. I definitely recommend it. It's just like a lot more options, multiplayer friendly. I'd say player friendly, but it's player friendly because there's not that whole cards cycle out. I mean, if you're playing legit Commander, you're in a dorm room or you're at a kitchen table and you're playing with your buddy or your friend or your spouse. Like that's Commander. It was invented in college dorm rooms for a reason because kids didn't have decks to compete in standard. Should have said that at the beginning of the video, but I highly recommend Commander. These are all sleeved, I'd say triple sleeved card. These are all Commanders. So behind every one of these cards is 99 cards. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I used to have more, but they weren't fully fleshed out. But these are like the creme de la creme. I might do some breakdowns. I'll make some more videos about Magic though. I was thinking about it and I was like, bro, I can make some Magic videos. I got all that fucking knowledge in my brain locked away. When I still play Magic, I'll remember all the rules and everything. And it's like, oh man, I wish I played more D&D because then I would have been more with the rules. But hey, over time, it's just like D&D, just like Magic. Just keep playing it with your buddies. You're going to get better and better and better. But that's the thing. Play these games at the tabletops with your buddies. If you're not playing with your buddies and you're not having a good time, leave. That's all I gotta say, man. It's because you're spending your time on these hobbies, so have fun with it, man. Make it what you want. Get a backbone in your body and build your own deck. I don't give a shit if it loses at Friday Night Magic. You at least went out, built your own deck like a goddamn, what do you call them? Yo, yeah, you built your deck like a goddamn planeswalker, not some fucking weeaboo that just sits online and copy and pastes the best deck, okay? Get a backbone, build your own deck, win and lose with it. You're going to feel 10 times cooler, okay? Or get out of standard and play commander. Hey, you guys have a good one. And as always, thank you again for being the best part of my team.